welcome, welcome, welcome. We are on episode 14 of Rapid Reviews Radio. We're so glad you could join us. I am your co-host, Kylie Wild, and I'm joined by Pete Beckett.
Hello.
And how have you been?
I've been fine. I'm still shocked we made it to episode 14.
I'm shocked and pleased and all of those adjectives.
Yeah, me too, but I never thought we'd get beyond 4, so
Yeah.
that's good. But how are you doing?
Adjectives. I said adjectives. I meant adverbs. So
Yeah, okay. So for note, Kylie is currently nursing a hangover, as per usual.
I am. I did a little bit of imbibing last night, and now I'm suffering for it.
Yeah, you are suffering for the result of a wine-fueled night.
Yes.
I have to ask, because I didn't ask last night, was it red or white?
Believe it or not, it's a rosé. So
Bit of both,
a
then.
bit of both. Cause see, here's the thing. I love red wine. It tastes better. It's wonderful, but it gives me a terrible headache. Whereas white wine doesn't give me any kind of hangover whatsoever. So to get the taste and the benefits, I usually stick with rosé.
Fair. That's a fair point. And
Yeah.
when I used to work in a supermarket, I worked at the end of a beers, wines, and spirits section, and the amount of bottles of red wine I knocked off.
Oh no!
Oh God, it used to make my entire aisle stink,
It
and I
would.
hated it. It gave me the worst headaches.
Yeah, there's
Well,
nothing worse than spilled wine. Oh,
exactly, and
yeah.
that would probably be
Red
you
wine.
sitting there with a straw, going, "Don't waste it! Don't waste it!"
Using like a dish rag, like soaking it up and then just like wringing it out in my mouth.
Wasn't there something that happened in The Simpsons like that, where I think Homer's
Probably.
mopping up beer and then
There was,
soaking it? Oh, Barney.
yeah, there was. Well, okay, well, yeah, there's that. I was gonna say, I think a beer truck overturned or something. No, that
Yeah.
was sugar. Oh God, I can't remember. Too many Simpsons
know.
episodes in my brain.
Yeah, far too many.
But
But
yes.
that'll be for our Simpsons podcast.
There you go. Yes.
I actually
around for
could do
that
a
one.
Simpsons podcast, honestly. Like, I love that show.
Yeah.
Well, loved.
That's a tough one. Yeah. See, here's what I think. I think all the people that we grew up loving, their wit and humor, as they got older, they got less funny. I think they got stabilized or something.
That's possible, but also I think a lot of it is based on controversy as well, and bearing in mind that I recently just saw that Hank Azaria is
Yeah, saw that.
Apu, which I thought was an absolute joke.
Yeah. I mean,
31 seasons he's done that for, and now it's a problem?
yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll save
Right.
that for our Simpsons episode.
Yeah. Let me warn you now, this might be a controversial episode.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
We got
There's a few things that might rustle a few feathers, let's say.
yes, rustle them jimmies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of which, that's a perfect segue.
Kind of.
Sort of. How about the news of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you first. Do you want to start with good news or bad news?
In real life, I always start with bad news first, so I can end with the good news. So
Okay.
let's reverse it.
Yes, good. So, we've got a couple of potential confirmations. One now has actually been confirmed officially. One is still in the rumor mill, so take this one with a slight grain of salt, let's say. Bioshock, the collection, has been rated by both a Taiwanese and Brazilian rating board for the Switch.
Yeah.
But, as well as Xbox One and PS4, so they look like remasters.
Ah, right. Yeah, but that makes sense.
Yeah, especially since 2K recently came out and said that they're making a new Bioshock game.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where they go with that.
Me too, and I'd be quite interested because I haven't actually played Bioshock since the first one came out on 360.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, I still remember it was the first E3 that I watched that I got chills from,
Yeah.
and that was when they did the sneak peek of Bioshock, the original.
Ooh.
And it was then they had a whole behind the scenes thing about how they rendered the water, and I
Yeah.
just goosebumps. I was like, this is the because that's what I had always used as a kid growing up was
Hmm.
water was the thing that would tell me if a game was progressive or not. Like
Yeah, exactly.
one of my favorite games as a little one was a game that's called Journeyman.
Hmm.
It came free with several computers that had Windows
Oh yeah.
95 at the time,
Mm.
or was it 98? I think it was 95. Uh,
It may have been.
it was very much like Myst, so that it
Yep.
was kind of static but kind of not.
Okay.
And the only time I would kind of be unimmersed is when you had to go down to there was a water. I don't know. I think it launched a ship. Like what we
Yeah.
considered a moon pool in Subnautica. And the water was static and didn't move, but you could hear
Yeah.
the sounds of it. And
Of course.
I remember looking at it going, one day there will be games where there's like water, rendered water.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and then when Tomb Raider came out and you could swim, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. I did the same thing pretty much with animated movies,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you would look at it and you go, okay, this water doesn't stick at
Mm-hmm.
all. And then some films started really pushing the boundaries on what they could do
Mm-hmm.
with the physics and the graphics of water, to the
Yeah.
point where obviously Bioshock, we got a full freaking game set underwater,
Yes. And
which,
it's
I mean,
beautiful.
oh
Oh,
yeah, it is, but I mean, the narrative of that game is quite impressive, but I
oh yeah.
I have to say I wasn't a big fan of the mechanics of the game.
I I would actually agree with that.
I
It
I
was
would I would be
clunky.
interested to I would be interested to go back and try it again, see
Mm-hmm.
whether or not the remaster has actually made me change my opinion of that, because I think I was a bit hasty on that one. I played it for a
Yeah.
couple of hours and then went, I'm not sure I'm enjoying this, but the narrative
Oh,
was what kept me interested for those couple of hours at least.
yeah. I've always liked how they did the retro future thing in the same way
Yeah.
that Fallout did, but they did it with its own identity.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I mean, it's set in the 1950s, isn't
mm-hmm.
it? Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of interesting discussion about ethics and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Like I believe this week, I want to verify this before I open my mouth and
Sure.
let me
Okay.
see.
But
The thing is, it
okay,
was uh-huh.
as I was going to say, just whilst you're having a little look up, I was going to say we did have another collection
Oh
that
yeah.
was rumored, but is now officially confirmed. Is the Metro collection for the Switch? So that's
Ah,
Metro 2033 and Last Light, not Exodus, the most recent one, and they've been confirmed for the 28th of February.
very good. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. That's another one that is like I've always admired Metro 2033 because I believe it's a Russian game studio I think made it.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of was a small thing, but graphically it was so progressive and so stunning
Yeah,
that first
that was the
time.
thing. That was the thing that impressed me about this. Is I know obviously it's a 360 game, but at the time that was pretty much killing computers.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
it was.
it was basically maximizing the graphics on most computers to the point where most people couldn't regularly run it.
Right.
So to see that now on a portable console is going to be quite impressive to see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
I can't. Okay, so I can't verify what I wanted to say, but there was something going around Twitter that Elon Musk had quoted Andrew Ryan,
Oh, right.
and people misunderstood and didn't realize he was doing it kind of ironically.
Yeah, but that's because Elon Musk is a bit of an internet meme lord.
He is. I do not hide my fascination and enjoyment of him. I very much like him. Uh,
Yeah, I think I do as well, but there are
yeah.
some things he said is a little bit, "Ooh, maybe not."
He uh shoots from the hip.
Yeah, and you should know all about that.
Yeah, but anyway, I can't verify that he in fact
Okay,
did quote Andrew Ryan this week.
that is fine, but it's possible it could or could not have happened.
Yes, but having said that, I do love that speech at the end. In
Yeah, it is
Bioshock.
brilliant. To be
Yeah,
fair,
yeah. But
it
anyway, yes.
definitely fits with the whole theme of that game of scientific advancement over the
Hmm.
ethics of human creationism and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and
It's very, very. The whole game is existential.
it
It's quite an
is. It is.
interesting one.
You can separate the politics from it, but
Yeah,
ultimately, I mean, it's based on Ayn Rand's book. I want to say it was Atlas Shrugged, and that's
yeah,
why Atlas is in there.
hmm
So it's about when you first play it, you think. If you've read Ayn Rand, you think that, oh, this is a pro, capitalist pro Ayn Rand game,
yeah,
and then it turns on you midway.
yeah,
I've always liked that.
yeah. That
Yeah,
that 180 flip is
yeah,
very, very solid. I've really enjoyed that, and
yeah,
I think a lot of games shouldn't be afraid to do that sort of
yeah.
thing. If they've got a subject matter that is quite
Hmm. Controversial, yeah.
controversial, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. They should lean full into that. They
Oh
should look
yeah,
at the both aspects of the argument and go, well, you
yep.
make a decision. You choose how you want to take this, especially with games now, more so than what they were
Hmm.
probably doing in the 360 era, is that freedom of choice.
Yeah, and that's something that I've always enjoyed about. God, I can't believe I'm going to say this again. Bethesda with
Of course.
Skyrim, New Vegas,
Yep.
and then not Bethesda, Outer Worlds,
hmm
which you have to make a decision, and no decision is perfect.
Yeah,
They each have
I,
drawbacks, and I like that.
I am glad that you mentioned that because
Hmm.
from what I've heard about the Outer Worlds, there are so many decisions in there that are left up to the
Yeah.
interpretation and can completely screw up the world, or whatever way you decide to do it can basically be done for your own
Yep.
gain or for the benefit of the rest of the world.
And yes, I swear the review is coming out.
I didn't want
But
to ask.
I apparently, because I do know the Obsidian formula so well, I
Yeah.
picked all the amazing choices, and everyone I've talked to has been like, "How did
Well,
you get that ending?" And I was like, I know how to do it.
you
But that
you
will.
power gamed Bethesda
Oh
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Of course you
so
did.
that will be in the review. But I've had a crazy week, which we'll
Yeah.
we'll talk about more in the upcoming episodes. But
Yeah, of course.
I'll be throwing a convention, so it kind of rocked my review time a bit. So
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of mentioned that now because I was going to ask you to explain that at the end. So we'll
yeah,
do, we'll
we'll
leave
go
we'll,
into
we'll
it.
leave that to the end.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, so
Okay.
let's continue on.
Okay, so we're gonna have to move on to some bad news here, I'm afraid, and
Yeah,
this is bad news for the fans of free games.
yeah.
It's a lot of the fan base, to be fair. So
Hmm.
it's now being called the season of delays, and
Right.
pretty apt, to be honest.
Yeah.
So this week alone, we've had 3 games delayed,
Hmm.
and I'll take them in order of when they're going to be released now.
Sure.
So Final Fantasy VII Remake has been delayed by a month
Hmm.
to April 10th. Marvel's Avengers, the game by Crystal Dynamics and Square-Enix, has
Hmm.
been delayed until September 4th, so that's a 3-month delay,
Yep.
or 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk 2077, CG Project Red's 7 or 8 year darling project, is now being delayed to September 17th, so a 6-month delay,
Yeah.
or
Um,
5 months. Sorry, my
right.
math's
Right.
terrible.
Um,
Um, yeah. So
So
what do you make of this?
I okay, personal feelings. Final Fantasy Remake is purposely being delayed.
You reckon?
I do. Um, I think that's a timing issue. They want it on its like released away from other things. Um,
Is this? Do you think then, because you raised a good point there,
mhm,
this is moving away from Animal Crossing?
I do.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would probably agree with you there. I even know that Final Fantasy VII was going to be out at the beginning of the month.
Hmm.
This does give it more than enough time for people to go, okay, Animal Crossing, I've had this for 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
That can be like a side game that I play here and there, but I want a narrative game. So there you go.
Yeah, because also don't forget, as beautiful as it's going to be, and I feel that it is, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a remake. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of new generation that haven't played it, but
Yeah.
ultimately you're still re-releasing a game, uh,
Hmm.
and that's, if you had a choice between a brand new anticipated game or an anticipated remake, I think most people are going to choose the anticipated game, brand new.
I think you're right there. Actually,
Yeah. So
I'm not going to disagree.
personally, I think that's a marketing move.
Mm.
Cyberpunk has me a bit vexed in that they're pushing it so far forward
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
that it's going to come out a month before the new consoles are rumored to drop. Uh,
Yeah,
that's
but
a strange one.
I don't think it's that strange, if I'm honest.
Okay.
This is very fitting of CD Projekt Red. Very fitting. Most people don't seem to remember how many times The Witcher 3 was delayed.
That's very true. Oh gosh, yeah, that's very
Yeah,
true.
that game got delayed and
It did.
delayed and delayed, and look at how that came out.
Yeah.
I think if anyone is negative about CD Projekt Red delaying this game, need to look into why they delay games
Yeah.
and just look at the absolute quality that they put out,
Yep.
because they take their time. They make no apologies for that whatsoever. They
Mhm.
want the best experience out there for anyone. And based on what I saw behind closed doors, yes, the game is looking fantastic,
Mhm.
but there are moments where the game doesn't run fantastically.
Right.
So I think it needs a little bit more time in the oven,
Yeah.
and that can only improve it
I
tenfold,
agree.
to be
I
honest.
absolutely agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
And to be honest, they are absolutely pushing the hell out of this hardware that I wouldn't be surprised if this is
Mhm.
cross generational at this point.
I think it's gonna have to be. Yeah. I just feel in my gut that it's gonna have to be. It's just too. The timing is. You know.
Yeah,
Even if
I
they.
on
Hmm.
oh, go on,
Oh, I
go
should
on.
say, even if they didn't come out with a next gen version, until January or something,
Hmm.
it's just too close to the next gen that they won't release.
Of
You know,
course.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't really think about that when I saw the delay. All I was thinking of when I was sitting on the bus reading this, going, "Damn it, why do I have to wait longer for this?" But
Yeah.
I understand the reasoning. We did mention that Miyamoto quite a couple of weeks ago, obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
it's still as apt as possible. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, for me, the delay makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying. It's
Yeah.
frustrating for those people who have waited 7 years for this game.
Yeah.
Like they've announced this a long time ago,
Oh
but
yes, yes, yes.
like I said, CD Projekt Red have a good track record for this sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this will only help the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if, based on what we see here, they have already put the works in on the next generation versions,
Yeah.
and if it is to be believed that Xbox Series X isn't going to have any exclusives for 2 years,
Mm-hmm. Which is
then
crazy.
this would make complete sense that
Yeah.
we would get a Series X version of this on day one,
Yeah.
or when the console launches, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because if you think about it, even if it's not exclusive, if Xbox Series X drops first,
Yep,
uh, it kind of will be exclusive, if that makes sense.
for sure.
Yeah, because obviously you can't buy a PS5 if there isn't any. So
No, but we
yeah,
don't necessarily know when
no,
those consoles are coming out. And
no,
if I
it's
had to
just
have
rumors.
hazard a guess,
Hmm.
it is probably going to be early to late October, early
Yep.
November for sure. To be able to capitalize on
Oh
those
yeah.
Black Friday sales and all that sort of thing, to be able to
Yeah.
get them boxes under the Christmas tree this coming
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we'll move on to Marvel Avengers because I don't know about you, I don't care.
I don't care. I have no desire, and I hate that. But no, I'm not gonna lie. I just don't care.
I, I mean, we know your opinion on the Avengers anyway.
It's
Um,
true. I have
to
made
be
that
honest with
known.
you, to be perfectly honest with you, this
Hmm.
wasn't nearly enough for me to want to go and look at it at EGX. It's not nearly
Hmm.
enough for me to go and spend 50 to 60 quid on this at all.
Right, right. No, there's
And
nothing standing out to me
I
for that.
do worry about their tactics with this as well because they've already started talking about post-launch stuff and
Oh
all that sort of
dear.
thing like early. They said that they wanted to support this game for years to come. It looks like it's
Yeah.
got live service updates to it, and that worries me. I mean,
Loot
I
boxes.
don't know. I don't know if it's going to be loot boxes, but DLC characters. That's what
Definitely
the
DLC.
most.
Yeah.
Look at how many characters have made it into the Avengers in the comics alone.
Oh
You
gosh.
just have to look at how many people were classed as Avengers in the movies, in the cinematic universe as well.
Yeah. I
To
mean,
the point where,
Wolverine is technically an Avenger.
yeah,
He
I
spent some
mean,
time avenging.
yeah, 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 they
I
are
think
the
Spider Man did
Avengers, not
too.
the pre-Vengers.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
think Spider Man was as well.
Spider-Man has been. Yeah,
Hmm.
Reed Richards has been.
Yeah, and I think Iceman. Uh,
Yes, he has. I also believe that maybe Silver Surfer has.
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, because he's very powerful.
Yeah, he's very cool. I actually really liked Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
Um,
until Lawrence Fishburne just pooped all over him in the movie. And that's probably not Lawrence Fishburne's fault.
right, I would think.
Let's just put that on record there.
Yeah.
That was a bad script.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
because they made Galactus into a cloud.
yeah. Oh,
Oh God.
that's not. That's. Okay, we'll save that for our cinematic universe cast.
Not even just that, just our film cast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go into that because I could have called it our sin cast, but that would be nicking someone
Well,
else's
yeah,
podcast.
exactly. Oh, sin.
By the way, if you love movies, check out Sincast because that's bloody brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, oh God, I'm not looking forward to talking about this at all. I really not. This has to involve Smash Brothers.
Mhm.
So yeah, come back. Smash Brothers. Yeah, we'll give you 10 minutes if you have no interest
Oh,
in
God.
this. Skip forward 10 minutes
Yeah.
because basically on Thursday, I believe the 16th was it? Yeah, the 16th of January for present year 2020.
Yes.
We had a Sakurai Direct where he showed off the newest character and the fifth character of the first Fighters Pass. And the reason why I mentioned first is
Yes.
there is reasons. So this Direct was a little bit interesting because we had absolutely no clue going in who this even was, and speculation was absolutely
Oh.
rampant as always.
Yes.
So like even a couple of days, like they announced this like in the I think it was the Tuesday, and then by the Thursday it was out.
Yeah.
There was an odd picture of Sakurai holding a free up, which was very, very strange.
Yes. Yes.
Like, so most people speculated this could have something to do with either Sora because of Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's the biggest one I saw was the Sora speculation.
Or Dante because of Devil May Cry 3 getting the Switch release soon.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, because we had a trailer that came out not long before this Direct that basically showed Dante's freeform switching in Devil May Cry 3 in the Switch version, which is something that's actually new to that game.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool. So people speculated that was something to do with it, but it does have something to do with a free, because
Mm-hmm.
Byleth from Fire Emblem Free Houses has
Yep.
been announced first as the 5th character, due for release on the 28th of January.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know much about Fire Emblem?
I don't. We've spoke about it before.
Yeah.
It seems like a series that I should be all about, and
Hmm.
yet I've never quite cracked it. So.
No, neither have I. I do
Mm-hmm.
like strategy RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
They are very cool, but this one just sounds like waifu simulator, to be
That's
honest.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I know that's gonna ruffle a few feathers, but
Yeah.
that's kind of
But
what's kept me away.
it's kind of what I've seen along the Twitter sphere anyway, generally over the Fire Emblem comes out is, oh, this person is my waifu, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of really puts me off because it's not really talking about the merits of the game whatsoever. It's just
Right.
talking about the cool designs of the characters, which actually, yeah, they are very well designed. Fine.
Yeah. I read a behind the scenes character development thing.
Yeah,
The guy that created it, oh, I hate not having his names, but I'm
yeah,
sorry, people. I'm hungover. Um,
that's fine.
but he did not like female characters to be strong. He wanted them to be soft and
Okay.
cute, and
Oh dear.
yeah. So if you look that up, like it doesn't do anything for me.
No.
Yeah, I like to see strong people.
Yeah, of course. I think I do as well because
Yeah.
everyone's human, everyone is different. Not
Hmm.
all of one gender is weak or
Right.
whatever, because
Right.
that's not true.
Right.
But let me just say a few things about this whole thing.
Hmm.
The fallout from this has been problematic,
Hmm.
to put it very, very lightly.
Yes. If you've been on Twitter,
Uh,
you've seen it.
get off Twitter now if you can, because
Yeah.
geez, this is not going to get any better or
Oh.
any worse. I
Yeah.
think it could probably get worse, but
Yeah.
good God. Um, it's been awful to say the least, and um, most of this has come about from people going, "Another Fire Emblem character? Why?"
Right.
Look, I'm going to say this as someone who absolutely loves Smash Brothers and has no affiliation to Fire Emblem whatsoever. But Jesus Christ, this character looks cool as hell.
Hmm. Oh,
For
definitely.
once.
Yeah.
For once, an anime swordsman
Hmm.
actually looks interesting
Yep.
because it's not just an anime swordsman. They actually have 3 weapons, which is cool as hell.
Yeah.
From people I've heard speaking about who know Fire Emblem, they've designed this character fantastically with the weapons triangle from Three Houses.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely brilliant. They have basically assigned a different weapon to each input, so up, down,
Huh.
and
That's awesome.
up, down, and the left and right, basically.
Hmm.
So each move will do something completely different, basically. So you could have a spear, an axe, or a sword.
Very cool.
Great, fantastic,
Yeah.
love that, absolutely love that. This looks like a character for the pro players, not for the regular players.
Ah,
He looks
right.
very technical. That's why
Oh.
I'm interested, because I think people haven't realized this is that this game has pushed millions of units
Hmm.
and is an absolute mainstay at pretty much every tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo aren't stupid to know that they can't just cater for the casual audience. They do have to cater for the pro
Oh,
players as well.
yes, for sure.
And I think I think the team there, as well as Sakurai, wanted to do that with Hero,
Hmm.
um, but they couldn't because of the random critical chance strike that they
Yeah.
get, which made it very imbalanced. Now, that's very synonymous with Dragon Quest, and it's very cool
It's true.
design,
Hmm.
but it's not a competitive thing.
Right.
This character looks massively technical, and I'm liking the prospect of what we're going to see from the
Hmm.
combo creators.
I like
But
that. That's a
go
very
on.
interesting take. I actually hadn't considered that, but I think you've hit it right on the mark. Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, look at all the characters that we've got so far from this Fighters Pass. I mean, there are 5 characters. We'll call it 6 because of Piranha
Mhm.
Plant as well.
Yes.
Um, Piranha Plant is a defensive technical character, very defensive and very
Mhm.
technical as well.
Yeah.
Joker
Mhm.
is an offensive beast, but also quite a technical character.
Mhm.
Um, Hero, a very technical character.
Mhm.
Banjo and Kazooie, a very technical character. Are we getting a theme here?
Yeah.
Terry, just look at Terry.
Oh
He is
goodness, yes.
ridiculously hard to play because it relies on you knowing his series, and
Mhm.
SNK fighters are very technical.
Yeah.
The theme is that these characters are hard to play.
Right.
You've paid for them, get your money's worth out of them.
Yes, exactly.
That's not to say that there are other characters in the roster that aren't very technical. Just look at Mario. Mario is your middle of the road
Mhm.
character. He
Yeah.
appeals to everyone. He is defensive. He's got base stats basically.
Mhm.
That's it. He can be picked up by anyone. But then you look at someone like Incineroar.
Mhm.
My God, he's hard to play because he's a grappler. Grappler are
Yeah.
notorious for being hard characters to play.
Yep. Absolutely.
But that's what people don't seem to understand. Is this is a choice that is made for people who are fans.
Yep.
And the reaction that we've got from this is not another Fire Emblem character. We've got 8 Fire Emblem characters. We've got this and not another anime swordsman. And honestly, I'm gonna say this right now. I hate the Smash community sometimes, especially the casuals who have not been there for every cycle like
Mhm.
I have been.
Yeah.
People don't seem to remember. We spoke about this off air briefly, but
Mhm.
I wanted to save this. People don't seem to remember the reaction that Marth and Roy got in Melee.
Mhm. Yep.
They were hated.
Mhm.
Nobody wanted them in the game at all because it was this niche Japanese series that no
Mhm.
one had ever heard of.
It's very true.
But look at what they are now. They've been in, well, apart from Roy,
Mhm.
Marth has been in every game since.
Mhm.
They've had a Fire Emblem character in every game since. Nintendo regards Fire Emblem as one of their flagship series now,
Yes.
and rightly
Absolutely.
so.
Mhm.
Of course, they're going to have another Fire Emblem character.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Look, I know expectations were high, and that's the problem, I think, is
Yeah.
why most of the people have been angry about this because the expectation was too high.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to say this. I'm going to say this. I think Banjo Kazooie didn't help that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see exactly where you're coming from. And I think you're right. That's what happens with all of these, Smash announcements.
Yeah,
Is everybody is just expecting. Well, everyone has their own opinion and what they
yeah,
feel is, the character that should, be next or whatever.
of course.
But yeah, there's a method to this. There's a reason behind it, but they're not seeing that. They're only seeing, oh, my character wasn't picked. You know.
Oh yeah, butt hurt, butt hurt, butt hurt.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's essentially what the Twitter realm has been for the last few
Yes,
days.
it
It's
has.
I
Oh,
did you happen to see the person who changed their name on there? I think this was put up on our Discord group of
oh
someone who
no.
changed their name to Byleth Hate Group.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know.
surprised though after everything
So
that's I've seen, but yeah.
I, I don't know. So look, just temper expectations. Just bear in mind that Sakurai and his team don't have to support this game post launch,
Mhm.
but they have, and they are doing more. So there
Absolutely.
are 6. So the other thing that was announced, there were a few other things. We are getting 6 more characters that are leading
Mhm.
right up until the end of 2021.
Right.
Even that has gotten hate, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
Did you
that's
hear that?
strange. Yeah.
Why is it taking so long to get 6 characters when 5 were pushed out in about a year? Is along the lines of what I've heard.
It's because here's the honest truth. It's a marketing thing because
Yeah,
Nintendo does not have a new console, a second gen or next gen console coming out.
there
So
you go. They've got to
they
do something to keep up with
yes,
them.
exactly. And this is how they do it. This is their moneymaker.
Yeah,
So
Smash Brothers is their highest
mhm.
selling game in their series, and
Yes.
one of their highest selling games of all time.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to keep this going as long as possible, so long
Absolutely.
as it still brings the numbers in at Evo and Frosty
Hmm.
Fastings and stuff like that, and all the tournaments.
Yeah.
Of course, they're gonna make more characters. It was obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd already said that they were going to do more.
Hmm.
They've officially confirmed it. And to be fair, we're getting 6 this time, not 5.
Yeah. I mean,
Piranha Plant was an early bonus for people, but
yeah.
technically, if you wanted to, you can still buy him.
Hmm.
He's technically a 6th character on that. He's not part of the pass, but he's still a 6th character.
Yeah.
So we're having 12 post-launch characters by the end of 2021.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
That's
Taking that roster to nearly 90 characters.
yeah. I mean,
Just shut up. You've got enough already.
Exactly.
Jesus. This is why I hate the Smash community sometimes. Like, it's crazy. It's utterly crazy, the reaction that this has got. And
Yeah.
to the point where we did have a topic that we were going to cover next week. We
Hmm.
could have done this week, but I felt that it wasn't quite enough.
Right.
But we'll talk about that more next week, obviously,
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
But you need to temper expectations, people.
Hmm.
You know, just because he's holding up a 3 doesn't mean that Dante is there or Sora is there or whoever is there.
Right.
I had this out with someone on our Discord, and maybe I'm going to put this on record. Maybe I got a little bit heated myself in the opposite direction. But, you know, I don't believe that Sora is ever making it into this game. Ever.
I
For
do
one, for
wonder
only
that.
for one reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because Disney.
Oh yeah.
You know, Square
Yeah.
Enix don't own Sora.
No.
They part own Sora.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not going to get Donald or Goofy, so don't even think about that because they are Disney characters.
No.
But
Nintendo would have to pay a lot.
do you really think that that Nintendo's cash cow is really gonna cut some of its profits just to cut Disney in? Nah, not a chance.
Mm-mm.
No. Bearing in mind that when Sony and Disney were doing that deal for Spider-Man, they wanted, then this has caused a controversy at the back end of last year, where Disney wanted 5% of box office takes.
Yeah.
Even though they already had a contract in place saying they get all the marketing and image rights and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
they still wanted to be greedy, which is why Sony went, no,
Yep.
we're walking away. Yes, they come to a deal, but that's because Disney had to hold their head in shame, and yeah, they had to put the cone of shame on, and go back to them with their tail between their legs and go, right, let's actually do a proper deal here, not be greedy.
Yeah.
They won't do that with Nintendo. They don't respect Nintendo at all.
No.
They aren't going to do that.
No.
Otherwise, we would have had more Kingdom Hearts games on Nintendo platforms.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
So I think that's my speculation corner over. Just let it be known.
Yes, because there was one slight good thing that came out of that announcement.
Oh, yeah. You go ahead and say.
Oh, well, there is a new Mii costume, which is Cuphead.
Boo, nobody cares. Hey, yeah, let's clear now. Yeah, I was going to say nobody cares about Mii costumes, but that's a good one. They included a music track with it as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Did you watch this by any chance?
Did I watch the direct?
Yeah.
No, I caught the aftermath.
Okay. Have you seen the video of when Cuphead costume was announced?
No, I saw a parody of it, which was a bit confusing.
They put so much effort into this one. This was the flagship one, and they wait until the very end. And they actually had a really cool thing where they actually did the storybook.
Oh, neat.
Where it's actually, so the pictures actually are backgrounds of stages from Smash.
Oh, that's cool.
It was very, very well done, and I'm pleased.
I'll probably need to go check that out. I like Cuphead.
You should.
Yeah.
It was very good. I'm a fan of Cuphead, but I never completed it because it's such a rock hard mess.
Difficult.
I still wanted hair at the end of that playthrough.
Oh my goodness! It's very reminiscent of games from childhood where it's just difficult. There's just It's just
I do
difficult.
love that though.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird kind of nostalgia where you like it but hate it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is we're getting games like that with the Soulsborne games, and I
Mm-hmm.
hate that term to be honest.
Well, yeah.
I hate that term. It's like, oh, just because a game is hard, it's now a Soulsborne, or
Yeah.
it's a Bloodborne or a Dark
Blood
Souls
Souls. Yeah.
again.
I like
Shut
the
up.
Blood Souls.
Yeah, I don't.
Portmanteau, I think is the word for that.
I really don't like that term.
It's like a Metroidvania. That's
Oh,
another one.
to be honest, the Metroidvania makes sense, but you shouldn't class a whole genre
Yeah,
based around like
just the
two games.
difficulty.
That's
Yeah,
yeah. It's like,
exactly.
okay, all right, Super Metroid is an absolute classic, and
Hmm.
so is Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Absolutely.
And they are the absolute pinnacle of that sort of, exploratory 2D sort of
Hmm.
games. But that doesn't mean that you should make a whole genre call to them.
Right.
You know, they are, if you had to call them anything, they are just open-ended platformer adventure games.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yep,
So can we drop the Metroidvania and the Souls-like or
I would.
Blood Souls
Yeah, I would like to do that. Let's
or
yeah,
this?
stick with
Yeah,
genre names. But
yeah,
okay, that wraps news up for this week.
yeah.
And we move on to our next segment, which actually literally will be super brief
Okay.
because I am not all here.
No, okay, we'll let you off on that one.
Yeah, so this is our segment called You Got This. It's a around about 2 minute segment where you just kind of sit and reflect for the upcoming. I keep saying reflect. You can't reflect forward. Um,
No, you can't, but the sentiment is there. We know what you're saying.
yeah. Think about, meditate. I don't know. Uh, the coming week.
Meditate, speculate, accumulate. I don't
Speculate.
know.
Yeah. All the rhyming words. Um,
Yeah.
It'll be our first Rapid Reviews radio rap. That was not easy to say.
No, it doesn't sound like it was.
So this You Got This segment. It's very brief this week and very simple. I like simple thoughts. I'm a simple person, and but
No, you're not. Not after last night's conversation.
oh
You were
gosh.
not.
Well, see, this kind of ties into that.
Okay, cool.
I'm very public and have been for the last 2 years. That I have been on a mental health journey. I know people hate the term journey, but it is what it is. That's
It
what it is
really
for
is.
me. Yeah, and I have been trying to. Well, I just want to become a better person and move forward in life. I'm always growing, always learning, always moving forward. That's the type I am.
It's what the human race should strive to be, really, to be fair.
Yeah. And one thing I've learned, through weightlifting and just other sports training, cardio, is that I like to train my weaknesses.
Yeah.
And when it comes to sports, cardio is my weakness. I hate it, but I will.
Yeah, I think most people do.
But I will always train it because it's where I'm weakest at.
Yeah.
So, having said that, that leads us right into this week's topic, which is, I'm going to read a quote, which is, asking for help isn't weak. It's a great example of how to take care of yourself. I think there's a lot of stigma attached to asking for help.
Yep.
I know that I was raised different than most people. And I was raised to believe that strength of character, strength of physical, just strength was the ultimate goal of everything.
Yeah.
And so to ask for help would be weak. So I learned to suppress all of that. The problem is now I'm an adult, an actual bona fide adult.
Ooh, scary.
It's very scary, and because I don't feel like an adult at all. Um, but so a lot of the stuff I've suppressed through the years is starting to leak out.
Mm.
And I eventually, in the kind of October, November of 2018, I had to ask for help. Um, I
Hmm.
I was just in a very dark place, and it has been amazing. Now it took a while because again, I'm in the UK, so I'm going through the NHS,
Yeah, it
and
does take a while for
it
the NHS.
does. And I recently had to change therapists because I didn't quite gel with my current one.
That does happen too.
It does happen, and you can ask for another. And next week I'll be getting my, who I'm assigned. Um,
Yep.
but regardless, the point being that having someone else who perhaps understands the human brain and the human emotional system explain things to me has helped leaps and bounds. Um, and honestly, I'm not weak for asking help for help. Um,
Nobody is. You should
yeah,
never feel like you are a weaker person just because you have to ask for help. If anything, it makes
absolutely.
you a stronger person for
Yes,
knowing where your weaknesses are and where
yes,
to develop further.
abso-freaking-lutely. And I'm, I feel stronger for it, for asking for
Mm.
help. I have things in place now that I can read, I can go to, that
Yep.
keeps my thoughts in a more positive direction.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, it's what I needed, and I'm a pretty freaking strong person. I'm
Most of the time,
resilient AF. Yeah. So
yeah, most of the time you usually are until
yeah, and
possibly a few drinks.
yes, yes. So I would say my mental weakness has always been an emotional thing, which
Yeah.
again I meant to mention. But if you've been a listener for the past episodes, then you're very aware of it.
Yeah.
2019, I was diagnosed with autism,
Yeah.
which explained so much. If I
Yeah.
hadn't asked for help, I would have never found that out, and I would have still been walking around going, I'm an alien. I have been stranded here by another race. I don't belong here. I don't fit with any of these people. Um, but now that I know, I don't walk around like that. I mean, I still
No.
feel different because I am a different, my brain is different. But I'm
But
not,
that doesn't make you an alien.
yeah, I'm not beating myself up over it now.
Of course.
So, yes, I would highly encourage you that if things just feel off, ask for help, and you can do it privately, and you never have to tell anyone. I choose
Yeah.
to just because I want other people out there to know that a strong person can ask for help.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's good as well because I don't know, it's just a strong person asking for help shows weakness, and everyone has weakness. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with having weakness.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be strong for everybody all the time. You don't have, whereas it's also on the other end, you don't have to be weak all the time. You can
Mm-hmm.
be strong. You
Yes.
know, you can be whatever the heck you want to be, but
Absolutely.
you just have to know where your strengths and your weaknesses lie. And when you do want to work on those weaknesses, you if you can't do it alone, then just bite it,
Yep.
buck up and just go, okay, I need help. I can't
Absolutely.
do this alone. There is no harm and no problem with asking for help. It's one of the scariest things that you can do,
It
but
is.
it lifts a weight off your
Oh,
mind
yeah.
completely, knowing that you can trust someone with something that has been plaguing you for a
Mm-hmm.
very long time. It's always the hardest step to do that the first time.
It
But when
is.
you finally do make that step, it makes things so much easier because you can then start to sympathize with people who have done that before a
Mm-hmm.
lot more. And
Exactly. One thing I will say before we wrap it up is I am very vocal on Facebook and Twitter about my struggles. And yes, of course, I get the people going, you know, what is this car crash? But I mostly...
It's interesting to read, though.
Yeah, I have to say I get lots of messages of people, male and female, going, I'm exactly this way. Thank you for being vocal about it. I'm not alone now. I'm not an alien, and that's what kind of keeps me going, is when people say thank you for publicly saying what I think,
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that I don't generally tend to put most of that on social media because
Most people
I
don't.
don't like
Yeah.
literally everybody knowing exactly what's going on. I do, because, well, I have trust issues with people sometimes. That's
I
based
think a lot of
on a
people
path
do.
that I've had a lot, over
Yeah.
the years. I've had people abusing my trust over many, many years. So I need to be very careful about who I feel like I can trust.
Yes.
But Kylie knows most of it because, we go to each other all the time. And that was the hardest thing the first time, was saying, she was saying to me a load of things, and it was like, okay, you're asking for help, like I can help you, but then it didn't feel like I reciprocated at all, because I was just like, I was a bit more of a closed book. So one day I just went, right, this is what's going on, I need to tell you,
Yeah.
and then from there it sort of just broke the stigma a little bit, and now we feel like we can talk about it quite openly. We can help each other like more than we can help ourselves.
Exactly. And that right there is the key to this whole thing. Is there's more power, more strength, and more people.
Yeah, you've heard the term strength in numbers.
Absolutely, yes. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness. And as always, I'm going to wrap up this very long segment with
it's very necessary.
Yes. You've got this. And we are always around for a message if you need to. I can absolutely attest that Pete is a fabulous listener. And
I can be when I'm in the right state of mind, I guess.
Yeah. And so, don't be afraid. Reach out. And there's always
remember that there's not just us. There's a Samaritan's National Suicide Hotline if you are in America or other places as well. Just get on the internet and have a look. If you feel like one of your friends or one of your family can't exactly help you through and you need a bit more professional help, they are there for you too. But that's not to take away from the fact that we can also maybe give you some advice if we can, or we can just sit there and shut up and let you talk.
Yeah, or point you in the right direction. So all right, well, we'll wrap that up.
That was a good segment, though. I think that was very important because been a lot of stuff that's been going on over the week that you've had a vent about to me, and I'm more than happy to listen to you, to be honest, even though most of it was rambling drunkenness. But
it's true.
It's fine.
I get talkative when
No, it's totally understandable. I might not hear from you all week, and then you have a drink, become like loose lips.
That's one thing you have to understand, dear listeners, is if you have a friend that is on the autism spectrum, you may not hear from them for a week or 2 weeks, but to them, it hasn't been a week. It's
normal,
time doesn't pass for us, and our feelings for people don't change with the passage of time. Now I know I'm being kind of generic, but I mean that does seem to be kind of across the board. So if you don't hear from me, it has no bearing on what I think of our friendship, and I think that's been a hard thing for a lot of people to understand. So but
let's just say it does make it a little bit more difficult when you're trying to put a plan together for a podcast and you get nothing back for a few days.
It's true, but it's in my head and I'm mulling it over.
That's why I don't constantly message you and go, right, I need to know. I just like drop you a message a day later and just say, what do you think about this?
Yeah. It's the best way. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
usually helps.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, moving on to this week's topic.
yeah. So we, I think this is going to be the third part of our 2020 previews season. Let's just call it.
Mm-hmm.
Where obviously we've covered upcoming games.
Yes.
In the first one, we did that with the awesome Jen. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she,
Absolutely.
she did a very good job on that one with
Mm-hmm.
us. And last week we obviously covered the upcoming consoles, which interesting. They were very interesting. We sounded very nerdy as we were talking about it.
Yes. Probably our
Uh,
nerdiest episode.
yeah, for sure. That's probably why it's got least listeners. But we did actually kind of sound like we were talking. Well, know what we were talking about, which was good. Which is
Mm-hmm.
bloody weird for me, if I'm honest. But this time we're going into it because we don't really know much about Nintendo this year, do we?
That's very true. There has not been much.
Yeah, so I thought we'd have a little bit of a speculation here. So
Yeah.
nothing concrete, obviously. Bearing in mind we know about Animal Crossing already and a couple of the Switch titles that are due to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So Doom Eternal, we've had Metro and potentially Bioshock,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we've got more characters coming on the Smash DLC.
Yes.
But we don't know much else other than that because we still haven't had a Nintendo Direct, which is annoying people again.
Yeah. I did see the backlash of that.
Again, like, why is Nintendo now become the top community? It's so weird.
Yeah. That's very
I don't
true.
get it. Anyway,
Yeah.
but we'll save that because
Yeah.
that's a small preview into next week that we're going to cover
Yes.
toxic fan bases.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun one. We're going to manage to annoy a lot of people. I like that.
Yes.
Anyway, so what did you have in mind for this one? Like, did you want to just throw out some really obscure predictions, or did you want to possibly speculate about what could essentially be pretty true?
Well, that's kind of where I was leaning. Because there has been a few rumors.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and they're kind of. It's still all speculation, but some have a little more meat to them.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
for sure.
Than other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, well, there was one game that I wanted to mention.
Mm-hmm.
This one is officially on the slate, but we don't know exactly when it's due to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Square-Enix actually delayed it last year. It was due to come out last year, but we're getting the remaster of Crystal Chronicles, so Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles at some point.
Yeah, which I'm
which
very
I'm really
happy
looking
about.
forward to.
Yes, yep, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean that makes sense because Square Enix has made such a commitment to releasing their Final Fantasy and other titles through Nintendo, so that follows right along. That would make sense.
Yeah, I'm really surprised about the amount of support that they're putting on there, considering the acrimonious split that those two had during the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To the point where Square Enix didn't work with Nintendo for a very long time.
Yes, that's very true.
And that's not. I don't think that was Square Enix or Squaresoft at the time's decision. I think that was more Nintendo because they felt burned by the fact that they weren't getting Final Fantasy VII on the N64.
Yeah.
You know?
That was such a strange time period.
It was, but we've now got them. You know, I know Crystal Chronicles was one of those games that did come out on the Nintendo console.
It did.
And I loved playing this as a younger person. Let's just say, because I was a young man. I wasn't a young kid. I was a young man at that. But being able to link up the Game Boy Advance via a link cable and play it and have your own screen and all that sort of thing, that was pretty revolutionary at the time.
It was.
That was unbelievable. I mean, they even took that model and put it into Four Swords Adventures on the GameCube as well.
Yes, it's that's a weird one because I God, it sounds so terrible. Because I didn't have any friends growing up. I didn't ever get to play the Four Swords. And
Yeah.
and then I think they released it on something, and you can play it now or something like that.
Yeah, there is a I think they released it on the Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Link to the Past
Mm-hmm.
remaster
Yeah.
and Four Swords on there.
Yeah, I think that was it.
I believe so.
So one day I do want to play that. I need to go
It
visit
is
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I will bring my Game Boy Advance along. I will see if I can
Yes.
get a copy of it, and we'll do that when I come over to your neck of the woods in the summer.
In August. Yeah.
Yes.
When we're gonna do our first live show. Woohoo!
Yeah.
But yes. So yes, that doesn't come as a surprise.
No.
And yeah, I think that was quite predictable, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think the good thing about this, I think the reason probably why it was delayed was more the fact that they're trying to sort the online infrastructure out to be able to play this like you would have been able to in a local setting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just taking a little bit more time just to get that out of the door, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fair play to them. If this comes out and is an absolute masterpiece like the original game was, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Um,
um so we know about Animal Crossing,
yes, I
obviously.
was gonna
We've
say
spoken about
that's
that
a
at length a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, that's a
Um
definite coming out.
yeah, but I believe with Animal Crossing we may see some DLC at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the year. I think we might
Absolutely.
get something to do with that, or we'll have some sort of integration with Pocket Camp.
Right. Right. Of course. Yes, we spoke briefly about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and that was a speculation on Jen's part, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty apt, to be fair.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense.
It absolutely would. And I do think, again, we spoke earlier when we were talking about Smash and the 6 characters and drawing them out. I
Yeah.
think Animal Crossing is another one. People will put money into it and it will
Yeah.
keep Nintendo relevant. So, yes, I absolutely think there will be DLC for Animal Crossing
Yeah.
well into probably 2021.
Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, even though Animal Crossing is one of their newer series,
Mhm.
with the fact that it only came out on the GameCube originally,
Yeah.
it still is a money spinner. Like
Oh,
this
yeah.
generates so much hype alone that
Hmm.
they'd be dumb not to capitalize on it.
Yes.
And that's where I think that they're a bit more business savvy than they have been for like the last few years. They know that, and I think they are going to, and for want of a better word, they are going to exploit that.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I'm not saying they're just pushing out DLC just to take your money,
No,
because
but yeah.
they are going to take advantage of the fact that there is a rabid fan base, and
Hmm.
they are very vocal about their love of Animal Crossing.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
probably rightly so. It looks like a proper chill game and looks like a lot of fun. But
I love it. I enjoy it very much. But
yeah, I mean, you're not the biggest fan, of course, but even you are
oh
pretty
right.
invested.
Yeah. No, like compared let's even say compared to Jen.
I was thinking of Chloe, like Chloe Osborn,
Oh yeah,
one of
yeah.
our writers. Jeez,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
man. I mean, even to the point where her Discord status is waiting for the 20th of March.
That's
Sorry,
the
Chloe, I had to put that out there.
yeah, that's the release date for those who don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's funny. But no, it is enjoyable. I like it.
Mm,
So yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm in. I
Mhm.
definitely want to play this.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'll be there on the 20th, and thank goodness now I don't have to worry about Final Fantasy for that month.
Yeah, exactly.
I now
Oof.
have a clear slate to play Animal Crossing for a few months.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. So, um, I don't know about obscure. I don't know about some randomness here, but I'm gonna put a prediction out here, and this is what we're here for: is to predict some of the games that we think might come this year. I'll put a prediction out. We aren't getting Breath of the Wild 2 this year.
Oh, that's a brave prediction. Now,
Yes, but we will have trailers, gameplay, all of that sort of thing. I just think it's coming next year.
hmm
Um, because I think there's another big game waiting in the wings for us that we don't know about, but it's so obviously coming that
Right.
they'd be silly not to capitalize on the incredible sales that the game did have originally. And well, let's just get on with it. Mario Odyssey 2. No, without a doubt, this game is
Oh,
coming this year.
really? You think so? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Let me list my reasons.
Yes, yes.
I have a couple of reasons why I believe. One, uh, the fact that there's been no DLC for this incredible selling game
Right.
makes me believe that this is the Mario Galaxy to Mario Galaxy 2 situation all over again. There are
Right.
far too many ideas to just put into DLC.
Mm-hmm.
They have got so many ideas going that they are making a full sequel out of this.
Right.
Secondly, the timescale between both Galaxy 1 and 2 was 3 years, which is
Right.
when Odyssey came out in 2017. We're now in 2020. That's the
Mm-hmm.
3-year cycle. They are essentially building off the assets they already have, but
Mm-hmm.
they are just increasing the levels, and they're going to give us some very interesting kingdoms this time around. I think it makes sense. I was super shocked that they never released DLC for Odyssey, apart from Luigi's
Right.
Balloon World,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
which I never played.
No. I didn't either. And actually, come to think of it, they usually like to put a Mario game out pretty frequently.
Yes, they do. I mean, they've
And,
had a lot of Mario games over
well,
the years anyway.
yeah, but like I haven't. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3 got released, last year,
Yep.
but other than that, there's not been a lot of, Super Mario World, as in the characters,
No, I would agree with you.
release.
Luigi's Mansion is considered a separate series anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's sort of on its own, really. I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe was a remake, or
Mm-hmm.
was a remaster, essentially.
Right.
Um, and then we could potentially have 3D World this year, which we speculated the other
Mm-hmm.
week as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I think if that's going to come, that's coming early. You
Yeah.
know, it's the sort of thing to go, okay, that's an April, maybe May release to get people interested, and then
Mm-hmm.
come E3, we're gonna get the announcement trailer with a
Mm-hmm.
solid release date of probably October, November again, and that's their holiday seller.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think that Breath of the Wild 2 is enough into development. I know they've probably started working on it pretty much immediately as soon as it came out, but
Yeah.
they did have DLC that they were working on too.
That is true. We know that Breath of the Wild 2 is coming, but we have no time frame.
No,
They've
of course not. And that's why
given
I
us
think we're
nothing.
going to probably get that March 2021,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it all fit into the whole. It's 4 years later.
Right.
They've obviously spent a year or so working on the Champions Ballad DLC for
Mm-hmm.
Breath of the Wild 1. I think for sure we'll definitely get a trailer this year, and we'll get some gameplay, because I don't think the gameplay is going to vary too drastically away from the
Yeah.
original game.
I wouldn't. I
Um,
wouldn't think so.
so I think this is going to be like this will be the Majora's Mask to the Ocarina of Time situation,
Yes. Yes.
where it's essentially an asset flip, but a
Mm-hmm.
completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're gonna do some surprises with this one. We won't go into Breath of the Wild too much if we don't think this is coming this year.
Yeah. I don't. I don't think it's coming this year. No. No. I think
No,
we're
but
way too early in development.
sure, and we will definitely see it though, probably at
Oh yeah.
E3,
Yeah. Oh
or
yeah. For
maybe even
sure.
Tokyo Game Show.
Oh yeah. That would be perfect.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Cinematic trailer for E3, gameplay demo at TGS.
There you go. That's our prediction.
Cool. I'm glad with that.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, Doom Eternal, there's a
Well,
big third party game that's coming out. It got
yeah.
delayed from last year.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously wanted to optimize the Switch version to make sure that that was coming out on the same day, which fair play to Bethesda. I didn't think I'd ever say that, but it is mainly more id that are working on this anyway.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And obviously Doom 64 is coming as part of that as well if you pre-ordered, which is Don't know what to think about that, so we'll move on.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
there's a reason why I mentioned Doom was
mhm.
just mainly because what do you reckon for third parties this year for Nintendo?
Oh, third parties. That's always a tough one because they don't do. I don't know. Like, it would have to be main titles. I think everyone's kind
Mm.
of waiting for GTA to make its way over.
Ooh, okay. And
Yeah.
I think that would make a lot of sense as well.
At this point, I think so. To be honest, when Saints Row came over,
Hmm.
I was legitimately shocked because just knowing how Nintendo is about their content, they do have
Yep.
rules, even
Yeah,
for
of course they do.
third party, because
Yep.
Nintendo is supposed to be seen as family friendly, cartoony, very uh,
Yeah.
it's
I
not your
do think they're
hardcore.
losing that. I think they're losing that mentality a
I
little
do,
bit by
I
things
do
like
as well.
games like Doom and Saints
Uh
Row and
huh.
all that
Yeah.
thing on there as well.
But as soon as Saints Row was announced that it was coming over, my next thought was they're going to be working on GTA 5, getting it over.
Mm. I
Um,
Can
mhm.
I counteract that point
Sure,
because
absolutely.
I actually forgot to mention something in the news,
Hmm.
but Saints Row 4 has been confirmed for the Switch.
Oh, see, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to speculate here because if we're getting, I know that Rockstar had a massive falling out with them,
Hmm.
with Nintendo over the N64 period. It seems like a bit of a running theme for Nintendo back then was the
Yeah.
fallout with their third party developers.
Hmm.
Um, they had a huge problem with Rockstar, and
Hmm.
Rockstar had a huge problem with them because they wanted to create a game. I can't remember what it was called, but they didn't go with it and they didn't like it, so they just went, "No, we're not going to work with you anymore."
Hmm.
I think Rockstar were massively, bitterly disappointed with that to the point where they pretty much have essentially stuck two middle fingers up to them and said, "Sod you, you ain't getting anything other than terrible GTA spin-off games." And I'm saying terrible because they weren't mainline games,
Right.
Chinatown Wars and all that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they did
yeah,
come to the PSP.
yeah.
Um, I think I think Nintendo probably will do the right thing and actually try and get them on board,
Hmm.
but I don't think GTA 5 is coming.
Really? Okay. You think it's
No,
you think it'll
we're
be
getting
more like Vice City?
we're getting GTA the collection, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas
Ah,
all in one.
yes. Yes.
That's gonna open the floodgates because
You're right.
everyone remembers those.
Yeah.
Everyone wants those, and imagine that those with a visual upgrade to look more
Mm-hmm.
like the iPad versions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get those with a bit of online infrastructure, maybe. Who knows? But all
Yeah.
three of those on a cartridge.
You're right. You're right. That would be the way to go because they did something very similar with Square Enix again.
Hmm.
They released the older Final Fantasies.
Yeah, they did.
Although they didn't release Final Fantasy VII, which is weird, but I think
Well,
I
they have.
understand. But I
Yeah.
mean, in the beginning, um,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, when they very first dropped,
Yeah.
and then that caused an interest in Final Fantasy coming to the Nintendo.
Yeah.
A lot of buzz about that.
Exactly.
So I think that you could very well be right in that they would be following the same formula.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
And then let's hope from there, and let's just be perfectly honest here. Who the hell even remembers the top-down games?
Well,
But imagine that GTA London, and GTA 2 in a nice little collection.
yep, yep, yep. I
Let's
mean,
go back to the past.
the thing is, what I've found myself, and if I'm feeling this, I'm sure the marketers are for
Hmm.
all of the consoles and games. I kind of do miss top-down
Yeah,
games,
I
which
do as
is
well.
weird.
I I mean, I've got them on the PS1. I'm
Hmm.
looking at them right now. In fact, I even have two copies of GTA 2.
Oh wow!
Well, there's a reason behind that because there's actually one version that's got the full title of Grand Theft Auto 2, and then one version, which is the more common one,
Mm-hmm.
is GTA 2.
Ah,
Yeah, so I have those for collection reasons, of course.
right, right. Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
but I want to go back and play GTA London, but it's such a pain in the ass to play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have to
I mean,
agree.
who wants to put a disc in to then put another disc in to then have to open that disc tray
Yeah,
again and put the first disc back in?
yeah,
It is annoying. I mean, it is an add-on, obviously. It was at the time, but that
yeah.
was quite frustrating and quite annoying.
But I think around that time, I want to say it was the PS1. Of course, listeners correct
Yeah,
me.
it
Um,
was the PS1.
well, but I think Parasite Eve was like that as well.
It was, yeah, Parasite Eve PS1 game, very
Okay.
notorious for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I wanted to like Parasite Eve so badly, because it was
Yeah.
just the type of games I was into at the time. And but the switching discs and the load times and the
Ugh.
terrible camera, which was very reminiscent of the Resident Evil camera.
Well,
Um,
yeah, it's just very early 3D games
it
anyway on
was,
that
yeah.
system.
Um, so yeah, when it comes to having to switch discs, I'm so glad we're past that era.
Oh, we do still kind of have it. Look at
Oh,
RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2, where you had to have an install disc,
well, that's
and
true.
GTA 5 on the Xbox 360.
That yes, that's right.
Yeah, because
Um,
I haven't forgotten, because actually a couple of games in my PS1 collection have got multiple discs.
oh,
Metal Gear Solid being one of them.
yeah, that's true. And then I think Final Fantasy VII had 4 discs. And
3 discs for that one. Final Fantasy 9, I believe, had 4.
okay, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Because I had
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, and X2.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy 10 was the one on PS2 that only had one disc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I might have told this story before. I'm not sure. But when I first got Final Fantasy VII, I bought a used copy,
Hmm.
and didn't realize that the second disc was missing.
Oh dear.
So, being that I was a kid, I had to basically grind my character on the first disc until I could
Ooh.
afford, through allowance and everything, to get another copy.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
yeah, and so by the time I got the next copy, again, it's still a used copy, but they play
Yeah.
just the same. And I went and put the second disc in. My character was so OP. I just like ran through the next section.
Nice.
So,
Still better than my experience of getting a second and third disc that were French.
oh, nice.
Yeah, that was fun having to try and play through that and going, what the hell happened
Oh,
here?
goodness.
I
Yeah,
can't read any in a story game. That's the worst thing.
that's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look, if I can't see what fight is, then I have no clue what I'm doing.
no. Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't miss
But yeah,
those days. I don't miss those days. That part. That part.
I don't either, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I
Yeah.
really don't. I'm glad that we're able to get things on one disc, or at least have just an install disc.
Yeah. 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 I'm happy with just an install disc. Yeah.
Yeah, back to those old PC sensibility days.
Oh, goodness.
I do love those days. To be fair, the old
Yeah.
the old installers. God, I love the
Mm-hmm.
installers.
Mm-hmm.
um. So yeah, I'd love to see a GTA game on the Switch. To be honest with you, because I've been playing GTA 5 via Game Pass, and I've been having a lot of fun. I forgot how much I really like that game.
It is very enjoyable. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me put this to you then.
Mm-hmm.
Being the fact that it was a 360 game,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mentioning the one that you might think I'm going to mention.
Okay.
Do you reckon we'll get Red Dead Redemption, the first one on the Switch?
Um, if if they strike a deal
Hmm.
with Rockstar, um, let's say they do the kind of remastered set of 3
Yep.
Vice City and the other one, um,
San Andreas.
San Andreas. Yeah, just blanked out. Hello,
Yeah, it's
Hangover, Kylie.
fine.
If they do something like that, yes, I could see the first Red Dead making its way over. Do I think Red Dead would make it over before GTA? No.
No, I don't think so as well. I think if
No.
GTA is going to come, it's coming first.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
it could be another one of those things like with the Final Fantasy games and like what Square Enix did with Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we're going to get them, we're going to get them in a big chunk. We're going to get a load of announcements all at one big go. So we'll get the remastered collection of GTA. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
maybe a possible of GTA 4 and GTA 5. I don't think GTA 4 is going to be the one that everyone wants, but
Mm-hmm.
it's going to make it of some sort. And
Yeah,
then after that, it will be the sort of thing where they go, right, you're getting GTA Vice City, no,
they've got to
carrying
do
on.
Vice
And
City.
then they just drop the bomb in direct and
Mm-hmm.
go, by the way, RDR1 is coming.
Yeah.
But they won't show anything. They'll just show the logo, and that's it. And that'll be enough to get everyone as
Oh, absolutely.
stoked as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, much like they did with Witcher. So, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, I'm glad you mentioned The Witcher because I
Mm-hmm.
actually think that's another prediction there.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Witcher 1 and 2 on the Switch this year either.
let's think. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think because CD Projekt has such a big release coming out.
Yep.
Would they have time and energy to spend on marketing the Witcher set? But the Witcher set could, when I say set, I mean 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 together in one collection.
Exactly. Yeah, because it wouldn't be single. It absolutely wouldn't. It would
Yeah.
absolutely be a set.
Of
Yeah.
course, there's smaller games than Witcher 3.
Yes,
Like you could
by
probably
far.
fit both on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that as a quick little moneymaker. Um, it wouldn't take much. There's so much hype around Witcher right now.
Exactly.
Uh,
They've got the second season of the
mm-hmm.
Witcher's Netflix series coming this year, I think.
Which I'll remain
But
silent on.
okay, I haven't watched The Witcher yet, so I'm not
I
gonna
would,
bother.
if you get a chance, I would like to, and then maybe we'll do a future episode that is
Yeah,
Witcher based,
of course.
because I would like to get your views on it.
Hmm.
And also, what do you think it will do for gaming, television, and movies in general from here on out?
Yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah.
go into that in a future episode because I just don't have a Netflix account at the moment. I refuse
All
to pay
right.
for it with most of the stuff that I've got on there is a bit trash. But
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
BoJack Horseman will get me in at the end of the month.
Well,
So
yes.
once
There you
I've
go.
finished watching that and Sex Education season 2,
Mm-hmm.
I will watch The Witcher.
Yes.
That will give me a month to watch all those three shows.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's,
So I'll give it a go.
yeah.
I had a guy at work actually who was like, "Oh, like just after Christmas, he was like, oh, have you watched The Witcher on Netflix yet?" I was like, "No," and he went, "What? You're a gamer? I'm surprised."
Oh
It's like,
gosh.
yeah, but I don't pay for Netflix,
Yeah. And
so I'm
also,
not a shill. I don't pay for Netflix just
exactly.
because.
Also, I don't think that. No, that's just my opinion. Remember, people, it's just an opinion. It doesn't mean a
Yeah,
hill of
go
beans.
ahead.
I don't feel that it was written for gamers anyway. Um,
I think like if I had to guess, it was probably more written on the sensibilities of the books rather than the games.
yeah, absolutely. And even then, I would say there's some iffiness to it.
Yeah.
But
But
that'll be for
funnily enough,
another episode.
funny enough, I heard an interesting fact about this on another podcast I listened to. I know,
Uh-huh.
disgraceful. I
Oh
listen to
no.
other
What?
podcasts.
I can't believe it.
I know, terrible. But actually, apparently, the author of the Witcher books got really annoyed when they started publishing the books with the model of Geralt from the games.
Oh, wow, now that makes, like, yes, I could understand that. I can absolutely understand that. Yes. Only because, which I think I've said before on air,
Yeah,
I'm a writer under a completely different name.
yeah,
And yes, if my characters, first of all, cha-ching, please, that would be amazing. But if my
that would
characters
be great.
got sold, yeah, to video games, let's say,
Hmm.
yeah, I could see that because once someone licenses your characters, especially if you basically give them over, they can do whatever
Yeah,
they want with them.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think, I mean, I don't know much about The Witcher, to be honest, books and games, but I think one of the things that I have heard is they are pretty close to the books, at least.
yeah, I would say Witcher 3 is definitely by far uh, the closest related to the books. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a before or after thing, you know.
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, but um, I don't know. I don't know. We'll save it for another episode, but it
For sure.
it did not. It just didn't. The Witcher Netflix series has not sat well with me, but I am in the minority. I will definitely
Okay,
say that. Yeah.
cool. All right. So yeah, Witcher 1 and 2 on the Switch this
Yep.
year, I believe could be a big possible.
I definitely do think that. There's
Yeah,
just too much
now
hype there not to.
yeah. Yeah, and now with CD Projekt Red delaying
Mm-hmm.
Cyberpunk 2077, I believe they've got a little bit of wiggle room in
Yeah.
between April and September
September.
now to
Yep.
pop something in there to keep fans happy.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon they probably gave this over to a particular studio that is keen for porting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is why I don't think that they're gonna split their resources at all, because they're gonna give this to another
Oh,
company
right.
to do it.
Okay, that makes sense. I always
Yeah,
forget that that's possible.
yeah, I believe that a company like Panic Button might
Mm-hmm.
probably handle something like this.
Absolutely. God, there's a whole
But
market there I didn't even think of.
yeah, there's loads of companies there that
Mm-hmm.
actually literally just work on ports,
Yeah,
which is very interesting.
it
Like I
is.
said, Panic Button are one of them, because
Mm-hmm.
they did an amazing job on the port of Rocket League to the Switch.
Yeah, that's I've heard only good things. So, yeah.
Mm, yeah, especially when they added performance mode in there, that was incredible.
um,
Anyway, so
yes.
have you got any other predictions possibly for third parties from this year,
For
like
third,
for Nintendo?
right, for third parties, don't I don't feel as strong a prediction. I think
Hmm.
it's just with the chaos of the next gens coming out.
Yeah,
I think it would be more of basically what we've already touched on, the kind of AAA, um, remasters of their past
sure.
games. I don't see anything outside of that because it's
No.
just it's going to be behind the scenes, which we won't see, but it's going to be pure chaos from basically March until next March. Um,
Oh yeah, for sure. This
yeah.
this coming fiscal year is
Oh
just going to
yes.
be solely focused on the next generation, I reckon.
Yeah, and I think that with the exception of like you just mentioned, maybe paying another company for ports. There's just no time. There's no resources. There's no
Yeah,
to put a lot of concentrating on. So if there's third parties, it's going to be small sets, kind of like what we've already touched on. Is
sure.
my theory, my prediction.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put a couple out there because I think these aren't going to be massive ones, but they might be big for some people. But I reckon I still don't know how to pronounce the name of this company, if I'm honest. Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft? I don't know.
I've heard it both.
So have I. I heard someone on Twitter the other day get really annoyed when people call it Ubisoft, I think.
I call it Ubisoft, but that's just because it's me, and I don't
Yeah.
care.
And to be honest with you, saying Ubisoft does kind of sound like a porn star name.
Yes. That's
Not a
very
very
true.
good one, might
No,
I
that
add.
would be the opposite.
Yeah. But yeah, Ubisoft, I think they're going to put a couple ports out. Unsurprisingly, it'll probably be Assassin's Creed of some
it
sorts.
would have to be. Yeah, maybe even
I hope.
Odyssey.
I don't think Odyssey. I think it's too
It's
technical to
too
be able to get
yeah.
onto the Switch. It did kind of push
It did.
the PS4 and the Xbox One a little bit.
It was a surprise for me. It was a surprise hit.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably
Kind of
not
came
going to
out of
get the
nowhere.
one that's set in England because nobody really likes that.
It's not good.
No, and the one that became meme-tastic, I don't think we're going to get either.
um,
because we've had Black Flag and we've had 3, I believe.
Yeah.
I think they can only go backwards.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations.
Yeah. Again, I would see that as a set. Uh,
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think they're going to come as a set if they're going to do anything, because
yeah.
essentially the Brotherhood and Revelations were basically just add-on games. Really,
Mhm.
they had separate stories, but they were set in the same world, same characters, the same thing.
Mhm.
So it'll form part of the Ezio trilogy, we'll call it.
Yes. Exactly.
And I think they will probably market it as that, as the Ezio collection.
Yeah. That makes sense, actually. Uh, hmm.
Yeah, that's a possible. We may, and I'm gonna. This might be not ludicrous. If we're going to talk about Ubisoft again, I think we may get the first Watch Dogs.
That would be good. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. I could see that for sure. I don't. Yeah. I don't think it would be a 1 and 2 release. I think that would be a
Yeah,
separate release.
sure.
Absolutely. Um,
Okay,
yeah, but um, you know what just occurred to me?
go on.
Now I have not looked recently, so correct me if I'm wrong.
I
But
will. You know me.
yes, exactly. But it has the Hitman series been released on the Switch?
No.
I wonder if
Interesting.
yeah. Um,
Do you reckon we could get the reboot Hitman, like the one that came
mm-hmm.
out in parts?
Yes, that's what
Do
I'm
you reckon we
thinking.
could get the first one?
See, I think that's a good direction to go in.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's
I'd
a
agree.
good little game. It's
It's yeah,
they've never it's never how do I say, it's a steady solid seller. That's what I'm trying to
yeah,
say. It's
yeah, for
not,
sure.
I
I think I
personally
think it'll be
enjoy
the
it very
perfect
much.
game to get on there for
Mhm.
sure. But it'll be, especially if they get the newest Hitman game.
Mhm.
I know it wasn't as well received as most in the series, but
That's
Square Enix would be silly not to include it,
mhm.
especially since it is essentially just a reboot of the series.
It is.
It will just be a good way of getting them into it.
Yeah, I think Hitman on Switch would be good.
Yeah, I'd
I
agree.
would like to see it. I enjoy the series, and I even have the mobile game, which
Oh,
is silly. It is, but I think it could definitely be ported. Um, yeah, I think it would be good.
yeah, I,
Yeah. So that would
I'd
be. I'll
agree.
throw that one in there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would agree with that, and I also think that the original Hitman 1, 2, and 3 are a bit too difficult to play nowadays to be able to port over.
that is a possibility. Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember getting stuck in one particular area of Hitman 2 that was just so badly designed, to be honest. If you failed the mission, like you could fail the mission by putting one step wrong and it would
Yes.
just completely stuff you up, and I hated that. It made me stop playing. I was just
Uh,
like, this is like it was the very GTA sensibility that if you don't do the mission exactly how they want you to do
mm-hmm.
it, that's it. They're just going to fail you.
It's true they did free up a lot of that with the later releases. You
Yeah,
could be a little
I'm
bit
I'm
more
glad about
creative,
that.
but yeah,
Yeah,
I
Hitman
love Hitman.
Absolution definitely helped
Oh
with that because
gosh,
they
yeah.
made it a lot more free flowing, a lot more choice
Mm-hmm.
heavy, and I'm glad that they made it that you could play it in the way that you thought possible.
Yes.
Because that's half the joys of Hitman, isn't it? Is that
Well, exactly.
he goes in disguises and does really weird
Mm-hmm.
things and really it was
It's
ludicrous.
over
Like
the
the whole
top.
game is completely
I
ludicrous, but it
love
was
it.
so much fun.
It is so much
It's
fun.
Yeah, just seeing this
Oh,
absolute bald-headed assassin with a barcode on the
yep.
back of the head just go out and
Sneaking
take
in.
people out in the most obscure ways possible.
I love it. Oh, now I kind of want to
Very
play
fun.
it.
Yeah. I always
But
remember that mission, I think, in Absolution, where I think he has to dress up as a chef.
yes, the
Yeah,
sushi
this
chef. What? Oh, that was hard
that
to
was a
say.
good one. Yeah,
But
that was a fun
oh
one.
gosh, yeah. No, I do very much enjoy the Hitman series.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to mention Ubisoft again. I nearly did it again. Ubisoft.
Yes.
Please, listeners, correct us if you know. If
Yes.
you're French, please let us know.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna go back to Ubisoft because I think been some rumblings the last few days actually, and this is quite recent. So
Mm-hmm.
um, potentially 2017's good seller Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle
Yes.
might might be getting a sequel.
Ah, that wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't with me either, but I have heard rumblings it might not be Mario.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's either rumblings of it or someone had put a prediction out there that it could be Zelda and Rabbids.
Oh,
Because that'd be interesting,
that
wouldn't it?
would be very interesting. That
If
would be.
Nintendo gave license to Ubisoft and that company or that particular development team
Mm-hmm.
to go a bit more mental with their other series, think that could be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, Zelda works on a strategy plane as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that with the newer Zeldas like Breath of the Wild and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Um, but yeah, I would like to see that. I would, yeah, I would,
I'd be interested.
yeah, I'd be interested for sure.
Okay, so that'll be a good one for a third party, but it's also a collaboration between Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I don't see any reason for that not to be announced.
Yeah.
It was a great seller. The DLC did really well for it. It still sells really well. It's in sales and it does manage to attract a fair few people still.
Mm-hmm.
When it was announced or leaked originally, it was a laughing stock, but yet this still
Yes,
did numbers. It was
it did.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true.
So I think we could get a sequel for it. Like I said, I've heard rumors,
Mm-hmm.
so it wouldn't be too out of line.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also been rumors going around the last few days as well about Paper Mario.
Yes, I've seen quite a few mentions of that on the old
Yeah.
Twitterverse.
So what did you see about that exactly?
I saw people complaining about it,
Of course they did.
because it's Twitter. Um, yes,
This
uh,
is Twitter for you people.
exactly. And then some people, of course, and I'm in this camp, saying, "Well, duh, why not? Of course."
Too right. It's one of
Yeah,
their best sellers.
absolutely. Yeah. I only ever played it on a ROM, but I enjoyed it very much. Um, Paper
Mm.
Mario and Mario RPG were my two that I played on emulators.
Yeah, I
And
played Mario RPG that way because unlike the rest of the world, we never got it here.
I didn't realize that. I bet we
Yeah,
talked about that before.
we did. The first time we actually got it here in official capacity was when it was released on a virtual console for the Wii U.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I had no choice.
Yeah. And honestly, by the time I got around to playing it, nobody had uh, anything to
Mm.
play it on, so it was just more practical to do it on an emulator. But
Yep,
yeah, but to be fair, I enjoyed it very much,
yep.
and particularly Paper Mario. I liked the aesthetic. I thought they did really well with it.
It's
Um,
brilliant. I
mhm.
love the design of the game.
Yes.
It's so simplistic, but yet makes
Yes.
so much sense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Uh,
Uh,
the, I
yeah.
mean, Mario RPG is one of my favorite RPGs.
Yeah.
And it is
It's
utterly superb
it's
game.
a
And it,
really strong RPG,
yeah,
surprisingly.
it was always a shame that they never got the chance to make a true sequel to it. But the
Yeah.
fact that Nintendo went it alone with Intelligent Systems and sort of went, all right, well, we're going to make our own Mario RPG
Mm-hmm.
with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget about the Mario RPG. Um, that's a good old Futurama reference there for you. But
Yeah.
um, you know, all joking aside, they made a superb set of games with Paper Mario on the N64 and
Mm-hmm.
the Thousand Year Door. The Thousand
Yes.
Year Door is still superb.
Yes,
And
absolutely,
if
I'd
you
agree.
manage to actually play that game on a modified GameCube with a HDMI
Mm-hmm.
input onto it, it still looks better than most games that come out now.
Mm-hmm. Oh
It's
yeah.
astounding.
It's got
I
a
mean,
lot of depth to it. It's
exactly.
yeah, I
I
enjoy
know
it very
some,
much.
I know people aren't big on Super Paper Mario. I really enjoyed that game too. The story of
Yeah.
that was brilliant. It was fantastic.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
that game gets unfairly dumped on
I do as
because of
well.
the way that it plays. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
traditional RPG. It is a, it's, let's just put it like this. It's not traditional. It
Mm-hmm.
is far from traditional. It's more of a platformer.
Yeah,
But I love that. I thought
yeah.
that was fun.
I like the kind of almost hybrid in a way.
Yeah, yeah, that's the word I
Yeah,
was looking for. Thank you.
yeah, and yeah, I enjoy it very much.
Yeah, the
Um,
story is great, and Count Bleck is amazing. To be fair,
yes,
he's one of the best villains.
absolutely, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and who can not forget about Mr. L? He's become a bit of a meme now. Mr. L originated in Paper Mario people,
That's true. That's absolutely true.
but you know, if I think if they're gonna do a Paper Mario, they're talking about a traditional Paper Mario game,
Yeah. Oh yes,
which
exactly.
I'm confused. I was kind of confused by what they meant by traditional, but then it sort of made sense where it was like a stripped back, take all the nonsense out that they had from Sticker Star and Color Splash,
Mm-hmm.
and just make a turn-based RPG as it once was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
That could be a perfect summer game for you.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Get that revealed in the direct that's potentially coming in the next month or so.
Yes.
Put it for a June or July launch date, so not long after E3 when all that wrap up has happened.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the sort of game that most people want to sink their teeth into because that's round E3 season is roughly
Yeah,
when games start to slow down a little
that's
bit
right.
for a few weeks. So that'll be a good game to get out.
Yeah.
I do
Um.
want to make mention of another rumor as
Okay.
well.
I was gonna say we're going a little bit long. But
Yeah, we'll cut it down a little bit. We'll make sure that we have
yeah.
we'll drop a couple more in here, but apparently a 2D Metroid could be coming this year as well,
Oh, that
according
would
to
be good.
rumors.
Yeah, I've heard that or read that as well. Um.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see that for sure.
Yeah,
I
get
like
the team
Metroid.
on that worked on Samus Returns on the 3DS. Even if it
Yes.
was just a port of that game, I wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people have been wanting a true and official Metroid 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be
Absolutely.
potential there, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think it will be set in the Samus Returns sort of time
Mm-hmm.
frame. Really, if they're going to do it, they're going to do a sequel to that game.
Yeah, for sure.
So that leaves a couple of other lingering predictions left to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put one on the table. Metroid Prime 4 is not coming this year, but Metroid Prime Trilogy is.
Ah. Again, if they're using the same formula as everything else we've mentioned, I
Yep.
yeah, I could absolutely see that for sure.
That one's been rumored for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
so I think this is going to be the year that they finally pull the trigger on that. And I think they will have something for Metroid Prime 4 this year, but only sort of very early concept stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because remember, they rebooted that game like beginning of last year, so I don't know how much they really got
Yeah.
left, like done. If I'm honest,
Yeah.
um, trying to think of some others. Uh, have you got any others? Got any others you want to mention?
Um no, I I don't think that Bayonetta 3 will be coming this year.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to see a lot of is kind of reiterating what we said before, which is a lot of DLC content, downloadable
Hmm.
content,
Yeah,
stretched over the next few months to
sure.
keep Nintendo relevant, and then any of its releases will be kind of that goal. That will be the goal. Keep it
Yeah.
relevant, keep it afloat in this upcoming year of next gen consoles and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So that's kind of where I'm at with everything. And I want to put forth that if the listeners want to give us their predictions, we would absolutely love to hear what
Yeah,
what you think.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. I'd
Mm-hmm.
be interested to see how much we vary away from what everyone else thinks.
Absolutely, yes.
I'll make one last prediction here,
Okay.
and this isn't just for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We are never seeing F-Zero again.
Oh wow, you really think so? Like,
Yeah.
full stop.
It's Yep, it's been 20 years. Like
Yeah.
next year will mark the 20-year anniversary of when GX came out.
Mm-hmm.
That game ain't ever coming out again. I
Oh my
think
gosh.
I think
Yeah.
Nintendo don't really care about F-Zero anymore because there are other racers out there who do it better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love your little message there, but
Yeah. So
anyway, so we'll
yes.
wrap this up, shall we? We've got one question for this week, so do you want
Sure.
to read our question?
Absolutely. And it comes from our buddies, our pals over at the FYX Gaming Podcast.
Hmm.
So, go listen to them. They're great. Um, and they always send us food questions. So,
Stop making me hungry.
what are some of your favorite basil alternatives to use when making pesto?
So, in terms of alternatives, I would say basil.
Yes, the American way of basil is funny because you know what's funny about that is if someone was named
Yeah.
Basil, we would call it basil
But you don't refer the herb as basil, you refer it as basil.
Yep, yep. So
It's
but
sounding a bit too close to Jeff Bezos with my liking.
oh goodness. Join us on our Millionaires Who Suck podcast. But although he's probably a billionaire at this point, but
Multi-billionaire.
ugh. So as far as basil alternatives, I'm going to be honest. I know that there's a red pesto you can make. I've literally only made basil and pine nuts and olive oil and garlic. So
Okay.
I wouldn't use an alternative.
And I've never made pesto, so I can't say for sure. Quick answer for you then.
Yeah. There you go. But we do enjoy these sorts of questions, so be sure you can ask us the most abstract, strange, and unusual thing, and we will happily answer.
I'm always happy to get some really weird questions. I love them. I think it's fun.
I do too. I like the thinkers.
Yes, the old head scratchers.
Yes, but that's gonna wrap us up for this week.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry for the quick wrap up here. It's just Kylie's in the process of sorting out her convention, so she's actually got a meeting she must go to.
I have to go. I have to get contracts in order. Oh, you guys are gonna hear all about it.
Yeah, we'll do an episode probably in the coming weeks where we actually discuss that and plans for that maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do unfortunately have to go and meet with my crew and So, but we very much love it that you stop by and that you listen to us every week. That is, I speak for both of us, but I'm pretty sure Pete feels the same way, that we're honored that you choose to listen to us, and we appreciate it. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have a show.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, you did speak for me. I was going to make a really abstract joke there, but I'm not going to because I'm the one that checks the stats every week and goes, "Why aren't we getting more listeners?" So I can't say that I don't want no listeners because that would suck.
Oh yes, no, absolutely. Yeah. The more the merrier, and we would appreciate a share, a like, a rating, anything like that, because we don't advertise, we don't spend money. It's literally word of mouth. So so if you could share along or whatever, we'd appreciate
if you
that.
It would be amazing if you could do that for us. Right, but regardless of whether or not that happens, we still enjoy what we do.
Oh,
We do it for
absolutely.
fun. We do it for a laugh. We're not doing it for the money.
Nope.
It's because we're honest and we just want to talk about games. That's it.
Absolutely. Yes. It's definitely fun for me.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some of our reviews, go to our web address, which is www.rapidreviewsuk.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can join us on Twitter at Rapid Reviews UK, or our new Twitter, newish, at RR Radio Pod.
Yeah, it has been around for a while now.
It has now. I can probably stop saying our new home.
Yeah.
So where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter, the cesspool that it is, at Pete Beckett1. I'll give you the surname spelling. It's Beckett.
Yes.
Where can they find you on the Twitter sphere?
On the Twitter sphere, you can find me at Kylie Tegreet, which is KILEYTEHGREET. A nice little Futurama reference there. And we also now have an email address, and you can find us or email us questions or comments about the show or anything that you can think of. podcast@rapidreviewsuk.com.
Yep, you can send anything to us over there if you want, questions, feedback, death threats. I don't care.
Well,
but no, I'd rather not the death threats, but you know.
But so again, thank you for joining us. And Pete, how about you hit us with a game fact? Okay,
so this week's game fact comes courtesy of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Ooh.
So did you know that? So side fact first, that actually Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, the guys who played Mario and Luigi respectively, spent most of the shoot completely off their face drunk.
Oh my gosh. Why
I thought
am I
that
not
was appropriate
surprised?
considering your ailment at the moment.
Oh, ailment.
I put that in there intentionally.
Okay.
But, so the main fact is about a potential for who could have played Mario.
Yes.
Did you know that Tom Hanks campaigned for the role of Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie, but he feared he did not carry enough clout?
Oh my gosh!
Remembering this was in 1993, and he had come off big films like Big.
Yep. Oh, wow. And Forrest Gump would come out the next year. Oh, that is amazing.
And Philadelphia the same year.
Yes, that's right. Philadelphia is the one that spurred it all on. But
yeah, damn, I watched that movie a couple of last week. Amazing still amazing.
Oh, well, thanks for stopping by, and that's what I'm going to be pondering over the next few days.
In your drunken stupor.
Yes. And we will see all of you next week. Bye.
Bye.